All righty. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this video. We're going to dive into today 3 reasons why creating is like a battle and tips that you need to win the war. So I'm so excited that you're here with me. If you're watching the replay, I'm good evening or good morning or good afternoon. I'm glad you are here as well. Comment, question, GIF, meme, quandaries, all things are welcome in the comments below. Just make sure that you tag me, and so I see them, and I will answer any questions that you have throughout this live session or at the end. And also share below, what are you creating? What are you creating? Does it deal with words? Does it deal with images? Does it deal with metal, wood, more hands-on materials? What are you creating? Are you creating concepts? Are you creating theories? Anyway, share below also, what are you creating, and what are you struggling to feel creative about, or to feel creative with? So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen with you. Awesome. All right. Okay. So 3 reasons why creating is like a battle and how you can win the war. My husband and I, and my grandfather, my sister, my roots, we all love classic country music. I'm in the Midwest now, but my roots are deeply, deeply grown in Texas. So we love country music. And one artist that I've become familiar with is Scotty McCreery. And I did not know him. I did not know of his work at all when he was on American Idol. Comment below if you did, if you loved him then. I first became aware of him on Saturday Night Live, which is my news source for everything, which probably isn't the best. But and Taran Killam did a sketch as he was doing a Christmas album with Michael Bublé, and Taran Killam played Scotty McCreery in that sketch, in that digital short, I should say. And I was like, oh, he must sing really low. I'm gonna look up this artist. And so Garrett and I looked him up, and we heard him singing. This is an image. I wish I could play the video for you of what I'm talking about. I'm going to share this video in the comments below this live session. But Scotty McCreery, we found this video of him singing Conway Twitty's Hello Darlin' at the Grand Ole Opry Theater, which I've been to. It's a phenomenal place. I saw Red Paisley there. I stood on the stage. Very special place if you love classic country music, if you love music in general. Anyway, enough rambling. So I found this clip of him singing Hello Darlin', and it blew me away. Not only his amount of talent that he has and his passion, but also the imagery that I saw in this clip of Scotty McCreery. Basically, I first thought it was attacking. He was attacking the song, and he's just with his body language, and now he throws his neck back when he sings, and the microphone's almost a weapon. But then I realized that it really wasn't attacking that he was doing. What I was seeing and appreciated about this artist, and I also see it, we see it in lots of other artists too. I could have shown a Janis Joplin picture or video of hers, then she exemplified the same thing. And it is this aggressive dance that they do, these singers, that Scotty McCreery does, with the sound, the frequency, the energy coming out of him. It is this almost like sparring on a mat, if you will. There is this listening to the creation that's coming out of him. There's this moving in accordance with. There's times when he leads, there's times when the song leads. And you can tell in this picture here, when he's about to hit this note, that the music is taking, the song is taking over. And so it's this beautiful aggressive dance, or if you will, this battle, this give and take, this sparring that's happening with Scotty McCreery, the creator, or the co-creator, if you will, because we believe that God is also involved in our creations. And the co-creators, this give and take between the creator and the creation that's coming out of him. So this is the first reason that I think it's really helpful for us to remember that creating is like a battle. And that is the fact that also that exemplifies that creating will never be easy, effortless, and an endless flow of inspiration. No matter how well you master your craft, that'll never be the case. So it's similar to a battle, and I think there's lots of freedom here today, which is why I wanted to explore this with you. And I think it's really helpful for us spiritually attuned go-getters that are creating to accept it. And we find this freedom when we accept it, and here's why. As I was already able to with Scotty McCreery, that he beautifully exemplified in this clip, but I can't wait to just, after you watch this, or maybe I'm going to pause this video and just go watch the YouTube link that I'm going to share with you in the comments below. As Scotty McCreery exemplifies in this bit where he is singing this Conway Twitty song, there are two parties at work in the creation act. There are two different energies. It's not just on you. And this can be really harmful if we believe that it's all on us as artists, as creatives, as people that are creating. This can be really harmful to think that it's all, we have to carry all the weight, because that's not the case. And in fact, I'm going to suggest I'm going to have a second. Let me see if I can find it. There's this amazing TED Talk by author Elizabeth Gilbert, Your Elusive Creative Genius, and it shares how a long, long time ago that there weren't such things as tortured artists, because there was this belief that there was this creative, energetic spirit called a daemon that would visit the artist and would give the artist inspiration, and then would to create an idea, and then the daemon, the spirit, would leave. And of course, we all have different words for this. We could call it the Holy Spirit, we could call it divine, source. In the example she gives in this part of the world, it was called a daemon. And so this was beautiful because the artist didn't have to carry all the weight. If the daemon didn't show up on Tuesday night during write night, and it wasn't the best work, but the artist still showed up and did something, then so be it. The fault is not on the artist, it's on the daemon. So there was no tortured artist in this example. So this hits home the point that there are two, similar to sparring on a mat, it's not just you. There are two energies at play here, two parties intertwining. You, the vessel that is carrying out this creation, this idea. And if we could also draw, I almost drew some lines here of the energy between the two, as we could call the Holy Spirit, and we are co-creators with God. But there are two parties involved in the creation act. And because of that, it at times will feel like you are on a mat battling it out in a sparring session. And we must remember that it's not all on us, that we are to spar it out, in a sense, with the creative energy within us. One of the best tips I have heard, and I've shared it before on other Facebook Live sessions, is this idea from Rob Bell whenever he is writing. I'm going to plug it again because it's such an amazing source. Go to robbell.com and download his 8 hours, an audio file of all of his best tips for communicating well. It's all of his secrets for speaking well and writing well. It's called, I think it's called Something to Say, or no, Say Something. It's called Say Something. And it's an amazing investment. He lets you even pick the price of how much it's worth. So go get that. And in that, he shares the tip of talking to your creation, being in dialogue with it and letting it talk back to you and tell you what it wants to be as you're creating it, especially if you are struggling. Nice, good job. Especially if you are struggling to if you have a part that's not flowing well. to be in dialogue with the creation itself. So that's the first way that it is like a battle, is that we have to acknowledge there are two, or if you will, two or more energies at work here when you are going to create. Number two, the second reason, I am trying to keep this one shorter today. I'm already failing though. Too much content. Okay, the second reason creating is like a battle is because it's not always convenient. It's not always convenient. For example, we go live in this group every Tuesday night at 7 Central Standard Time, and right now, Sunday morning at 10 Central Standard Time. So because I gave you my word in this group that I would show up and be in conversation with you and show up and serve you every Tuesday and Sunday, I had to leave a baby gender reveal party early last week and to show up to interview Tina Adams on this group that talked about introverts finding their power. So that was not convenient. And so creating at times will not be convenient, but we show up and we do the work because we live out of integrity. There will also be times, if you have a right night, that inspiration doesn't show up. And Tuesday night was my right night before the pandemic, and now it's kind of been a when can I squeeze it in, Saturday morning kind of thing. But there will be times that inspiration doesn't show up and the sitter has to leave and you're like, I haven't written anything, you can't leave yet. But you do your best and you show up and you do the work, and it's not convenient. The third reason, and these could be clumped to the same reason, but I wanted to keep them separate. The third reason that creating is like a battle is it's not comfortable or effortless. And if it ever does get that way, you need to live on your edge a little more and evolve and push yourself to your next level of potential. So this is a great book that I've just become aware of. It's not new, but I just became aware of it, The War of Art, and by Steven Pressfield. And it's about breaking through these blocks and win your inner creative battles. And in this amazing book, he alludes to the obvious fact that we've been talking about, that it is a war in a sense. There's pressure, there's criticism, there's vulnerability, and that's just what's going on in your head. It's not including from other sources, from other energies, from other parties. And then there's never enough time in the day. And then when you finally have enough time to create what you want to create, you, like me, might make up other excuses at times that'll keep you from creating well. So this is an amazing quote from Steven Pressfield's book, and he talks about how amateurs, and I know if you're in this group, you don't want to be an amateur, you want to be a professional, that's why you're here, that amateurs wait for inspiration and professionals create inspiration. Amateurs wait for inspiration, professionals create their own inspiration. So that's we're organically moving now into the tips of how we can win the war if being creative can sometimes feel like a battle. And there's a great picture that I should have been saying over, I know you want to be a professional, which is why you're here. So how can we use this knowledge? I want you to ask yourself as we're coming to the end of our time together today, and again, tag me in the comments below. Ask yourself, am I running scared of the battle? Scared of being dominated by the responsibility of committing to serving my audience well through my creation? Am I making up excuses out of fear, like I'm too busy, or I'm overwhelmed and confused by platforms or mediums, or I'll just wait until I go viral or a bigger name finds me and an influencer plugs my stuff? Do any of those resonate with you? Coffee break. If this is you, if any of this resonated with you and you are afraid of the battle, then I highly encourage you to own it, own the fear, and own that this feeling will always be there a little bit as you continue to evolve and live on your edge, your potential, polish and engage more authentically with the people that you're serving, and you continue to grow. That this feeling will always be there. As I think of this feeling always being there when we are being co-creators with God, I'm reminded of this beautiful painting by Domenico Feti. What a great name, by the way. Domenico Feti, who painted Moses before the burning bush. And in this painting, Moses is taking off his sandals, famous Bible story, well known, I should say. He's taking off his sandals because he is on holy ground. And we see that in this moment, like so many others, when a human is embarking on holy ground, a space where they're going to connect with God, they have this fear. But the same word for Hebrew that means fear also means respect. There is this coexistence of both feelings, this holy fear, holy respect of this sacred ground that they are embarking on. And I think this is really pivotal. This is really pivotal to remember for us creatives, we creatives, because own this feeling as you are stepping into your power as a creative. Own this feeling as you are stepping into your power as a spiritually attuned go-getter. No matter what you're creating, that whenever you sit down or go to work to create this, that you're going to be feeling this holy fear, this holy respect, because you're doing divine work. This holy idea would not be on your heart unless someone out there wasn't hungry and desperate for you to create it. So it's holy work you're doing. And so own your fear, respect it, have a holy fear, a holy respect for the process of the creating that you're involved in. And I kind of already said this. Per usual, I get ahead of myself in my slides. I think I better slide so I don't forget to say it, and then I end up saying it anyway. So I encourage you again to own it, to lean into this place of fear and respect for the divine act of creation. And when you, and maybe this is your weekly, if you haven't had this set up yet, I would highly encourage you to set up one time during the week. Or if you binge create, I was just watching an interview on Marie TV with Marie Forleo interviewing Cheryl Stray, the author of Wild and Tiny Beautiful Things, an amazing writer. And she's a binge writer. So she doesn't have a write night once a week. She has a write weekend once a month where she will binge write for 14 hours straight. She'll go to a Marriott or her cabin and just binge create. And that works for her. And so whether it's once a month you binge create or once a week you create 2 hours a week or 30 minutes a day, whatever that is, set it and then show up with your holy fear and holy respect and do the divine work that God's been calling you to create with God. So this might seem, this final tip that I'm giving you, that I just gave you, it might seem counterintuitive, but trust it, lean into the process. The more disciplined you are with your routine to create, the more inspiration and the more freedom you will feel. I'm going to say that again. The more disciplined that you are with your routine to create, whether it's binge creating once a month or creating 2 to 3 hours a week, the more disciplined you are, that will give you more inspiration and it will give you more freedom. It will, because you won't have to worry, when am I going to make time for this? When am I going to make time to write? When am I going to make time to record a podcast? When am I going to make time? And then, as one of our other amazing thought leaders who joined us, Jonathan Heston, shared, you're going to close that should gap. I should be creating. I should be. It's like, no, there's not going to be a should gap for you to close. You're not going to be saying I should do this because that's already going to be on your schedule for Tuesday night. 4 to 8, you create and it's done. So you have so much more freedom, and because you are less stressed about it, the brain can be more creative because you're more at peace. And if you, as I tell my clients, make a document on your phone. If it's Google Docs, if it's iOS Notes, whatever it is, make this part digital though, where when you have ideas that come to you when it's not your time to create, your allotted time, type them down and in a place where you know, okay, next write night or next create binge session I have, I'm going to come back to these. But I just felt the mojo, or it's 3 a.m. and I just woke up with this creative idea. I'm going to put it in this folder and I'm going to come back to it on write night. And you can still have that spontaneity, and also pick a time once a week or binge create once a month, because the more disciplined you are with your routines around creating, the more inspiration and the more freedom that you'll have. And I know that you want that, because we all do. As the famous author, my grandfather's favorite author has said, Louis L'Amour, the water won't run unless the faucet is turned on. The water won't run unless the faucet is turned on. So and he's talking about writing. And so getting yourself a routine once a week or binge creating once a month, where you can turn on the faucet and let the water run, your brain, your being, your soul, all of you will get into a habit of, oh, this is when I create. Okay, I'm going to turn on the faucet and let the water run. Okay, so please post your questions and comments in the comment thread below, and I will get to them. I am a single parent this weekend. My husband is camping with some friends, and so I don't have time to stay on right now and answer these, but I will get back to them later today. So please tag me in the questions and comments. I am so excited to serve you, and most importantly, come back here if you are a word nerd like me, if you're a lover of words, and you thought, I want to write, and join me here Tuesday night, 7 Central Standard Time, with one of my publishers, Ralph Polindo of Choir. He's going to be joining us. He wants to answer your questions. He's going to be sharing the number one manuscript mistake authors make and 3 ways to avoid it. You don't want to miss this. He's an amazing soul, so creative, an amazing writer himself who loves supporting other writers that are asking hard questions about faith. And you're going to love it. So come back, bring your questions and comments. Know that in order to comment, anyone can watch these videos in this group, but in order to comment, you have to be a member of the group. So join it so you can comment. And Ralph and I are here to serve you. So without further ado, I will say au revoir and happy creating.